Building on Ethereum can be challenging. High transaction fees, slow transaction speeds, limited functionality, and difficult and expensive to build on. Metis solves these problems. Ethereum transactions made on Metis cost just a couple of cents. They'll be processed in a fraction of a second. Metis offers rich, out-of-the-box functionality with one click. Store as much data as you'd like. We take care of the security. With Metis, building and deploying Ethereum dApps is so easy. Already have your smart contracts? We provide complete EVM compatibility and one-click deployment. And yes, we'll integrate your existing platform without you needing to change any code. Metis Layer 2 supports DeFi, NFTs, gig economy, social economy, crowdfunding, and much more. Our goal is to create easy-to-use tools, making blockchain accessible to everyone and empowering personal and professional lives. But wait, there's more. Metis is completely decentralized. Once your dApp is up, no one can take it down. Metis Layer 2 is secured by the underlying Ethereum blockchain, eliminating the risks caused by sidechain solutions, especially for DeFi projects. Metis lets you create and manage your own DAO in just 2 clicks. We call it DAC, Decentralized Autonomous Company. Our community mining mechanism can even generate additional funding for your project. Beat that, centralized sidechains! Now, we've introduced the Metis Ecosystem Development Program. We're offering established blockchain companies, blockchain startups, and even companies new to blockchain the chance to scale in 3 ways: tech and development resources, marketing and branding muscle, funding for your company, including grants, mining Metis tokens, and potential investment. Want to grow your company? Go to metis.io/EDP. Fill out the form and join the Metis ecosystem today. All right. Good morning, good evening, and good night, everyone. My name is Pavel. I am not Rohan. So currently, Rohan had an event to attend to, and I will be taking his place on making these announcements for the hackathon today. So I guess we'll just get right into it. Now, hopefully, here, let me just share my screen first. And starting off right here on a very good note. All right. Metis. So the first thing that I want to go over is the hackathon. So we are in a hackathon right now. So from October 2nd to November 30th, we'll have more details later on in the presentation related to that. So currently on the agenda, we'll talk about Metis. We'll talk what is Metis, details about what Metis does, who we are, what we do, what our vision is, and what the future lies. Next is that we'll have a presentation, a speech by Hyungsuk Kang from Standard Protocol. He'll talk a bit more about the project and give an explanation a bit more in detail related to that. Next is that we'll have our hackathon schedule, rules, and prizes. So we'll define exactly what the submission guidelines are, as well as the prizes that are presented when you submit, and if you do get chosen. And then finally, we'll have a Q&A session at the end where you can ask as many questions as you like, and we will answer them right on the stream. And the ones that we don't answer, we will answer them and post them in our Q&A website, where we collect all the questions and answers and catalog them. So for the Metis hackathon, it's a $1 million prize pool, as you most likely well know, and it lasts from October 2nd to November 30th, so a pretty significant amount of time. This is what we want to give all projects a chance to come in, participate, and enter in their either existing projects or new projects. We'll talk more with Hyungsuk Kang a little bit later on in the presentation, but we'll save him for last. So just to talk a little bit more about Metis, we have a place where you can put all your questions, so either in the Discord or on the Metis DAO Telegram channel. This is where we're primarily going to be collecting and answering the questions, so please post those questions. Most questions will be answered in the Telegram. So the Discord is more for developmental and I guess more of a project-specific questions, while the Telegram is for more of the Q&A, essentially for these general question answers. So we have our website as well as the Telegram as well. And of course, we have our hackathon and the Discord. So if you're a developer, if you're looking for a project, if you are going in and want to register, please join the Discord channel. That's where all of the more of the developmental focused, a developer focused chat is. And for the hackathon submissions, metis-ethereum.devpost.com is where you'll be posting all of your hackathon submissions. So we've received quite a number of submissions so far. In a lot of applicants, a lot of submissions in terms of the hackathon. So we've had tons of countries participate. It's amazing to see that there's so much interest in terms of the layer 2, which is very much needed in the atmosphere. And we'll talk a little bit more about what Metis provides. And so if you joined a little bit later on in the hackathon process, you'll still be able to come in and build and deploy. So to talk a little bit about Metis. Metis is a platform where our vision is security, scalability, and simplicity. We aim to make Web3 usable. Usable for people that have blockchain experience, but also for people who do not have blockchain experience, who don't have that PhD and doctorate into computer science and can understand a lot more about the atmosphere. We want to simplify the process. So our core vision, the reason why we exist, is to make that process as simple and as easy to integrate as possible. And how we do that. Going over some of the benefits that we have. We have reduction of gas fees that are present, the high gas fees that are present on Ethereum layer 1. So we reduce that to a few cents. The transactions that get processed on Ethereum. So you can only do 15 to 25 transactions per second. With an optimistic rollup, you have the ability to do about 2,000 transactions per second. For the data storage. So currently, if you want to store any data on Ethereum, you have to pay a whole lot of money. You have to pay a whole lot of Ether, I mean. We want to make that process, again, as simple and as easy. So we provide that IPFS data storage directly through Metis. For the smart contract coding, we provide templates. So you don't need to have direct smart contract programming experience in order to come in and deploy your DApp. And that's happening in the future after the hackathon release, as well as sidechain risks. So we are built utilizing the security and the decentralization of layer 1 Ethereum. And this is a quick summary of everything that I just went over, but essentially, just to summarize, is that we handle some of the key and core points in scaling Ethereum. So we extend and implement a product that solves the limitations that Ethereum layer 1 has. Our core principle, again, simplicity, usability, easy to use, easy to implement, no coding. We were focusing directly on our DAC, Decentralized Autonomous Company, as well as our smart contract templating solutions so that you'll be able to deploy applications with one click of a button using our Polis middleware. For decentralization, so in this case, we are an optimistic rollup. And as an optimistic rollup, we have security built in. Essentially, what this means is that anyone on the network could come in and become a verifier. And what a verifier does is it makes sure that everything is verified when a transaction bundle is posted on layer one. So what that means is that anyone can come in and check the work that the sequencer has posted. And what that means, just holistically, is that many layer one blockchains suffer from a 51% attack. So what that means is that if I control 51% of the nodes on the network, 51% of the miners, 51% of the validators, then I control the entire network. For Metis, for an optimistic rollup, the security is built in using one honest node. So all you need is one honest node for the whole network to secure it. So it doesn't matter if I control 99 out of 100 nodes, or if I'm a bad actor, I control 99 out of 100 nodes. All you need is one honest node to come in and post a valid fraud proof in order to secure the network. So in this case, there is no risk in this case of a 51% attack because it's not possible because of our utilization of the security and the decentralization of layer one Ethereum. For the functionality, so again, we use IPFS data storage. So we're providing that functionality to allow you to store your files and provision it. And we'll talk a little bit more about DACs and permissions also on the network. Again, talking about low fees and fast speeds, we have few cents, few seconds transactions. So we want to make the process as usable as possible. Right now, Ethereum itself, very slow, very expensive, not user intuitive. So we aim to make that very easy to understand, that you can make transactions very cheap, very fast. And finally, scalability and security. So in our design, in our architecture, we aim to reduce the pain points that are experienced throughout the network. So any type of bottleneck that is experienced, we, through our architecture, through our planning, we aim to minimize them using multiple sequencers, multiple VMs, and multiple chains. So this multiplicity allows us to expand horizontally, allows us to create additional computing power, so computing resources in order to process more transactions. So it's horizontally scalable in that case. I explained a little bit how an optimistic rollup works, but just to re-emphasize this, it's using the security and the decentralization of Ethereum layer one. How an optimistic rollup works, all the transactions that are posted to Ethereum. So every transaction takes quite a long time and costs a lot of money. Now, what we do in an optimistic rollup is we take those transactions and we bundle them up. And we split the transaction cost across the whole bundle. Now this bundle gets sent to Ethereum layer one and gets finalized. So what that means is that instead of posting one transaction for it taking 15 minutes and costing $15, this bundle of transactions contains 100 or 150 or so transactions and gets posted onto layer one. And that transaction bundle, the fee gets split across all of the transactions that are received in that bundle. So this minimizes the cost of posting to layer one, but also what this means is that all the transactions that are posted to Metis are essentially finalized on there, and they're almost instantaneous. So the slowest action in terms of posting a transaction is actually the network speed of the person, not the actual network speed of the system. So that's the limiting factor in that case. So what is optimistic? Why is it optimistic? Well, optimistic is essentially, the whole reason behind it is for the fraud proofs. So these are non-interactive. So what that means is that all of the transaction bundle that gets posted to layer one, what this means is that we assume that all transactions that are posted to layer one are true, they're valid. But then there's that risk. What if someone posts an invalid proof? Well, that's where the verifiers come in. And that's where the functionality, where I said how all you need is a single verifier, single honest verifier, in order to validate in order to guarantee the security of the network. So the transaction bundle gets posted onto layer one, and then a waiting period is enacted where anyone can come in and prove that those transactions could be fraudulent. Now, of course, there's that waiting period, but we aim to reduce that waiting period from, right now we want to be very conservative. And again, security is one of our core features. We want to make it a week long initially, but we aim to reduce that with the fast withdrawal mechanism to a few minutes. So that's something to stay tuned for the future. But talking about withdrawals to layer one. So after the waiting period has commenced, after the entire process of withdrawing the assets has commenced, you're able to take your assets from layer two and put it back to layer one. So that's where the power lies, is that it's not a separate chain. It's not its own ecosystem. It's not its own walled garden. You're able to freely move assets from one to the other, from layer two to layer one. And we want to enable that functionality so that you can transition any token, so ERC20 or ERC 721, 1155. So we want to make sure that that entire process is outlined, and those withdrawals are able to be done towards layer one. So talking about, just summarizing, we are not just a layer two. We're not just an optimistic role. We have additional functionality that makes us usable. We aim to be usable and very friendly. So what does that mean? Well, first, to reduce the transaction cost and increase the transaction throughput. But also, so that's the layer two functionality, but also we implement the no code or low code implementation of those smart contract templates. So users can come in, deploy their application, deploy the smart contract using the templates, one click of a button, integrated into their application, integrated into their website. We also have that IPFS storage in order to make that even more usable. So users can come in, they don't have to find out their own storage solution. They don't have to connect the complexity with that. They utilize the built-in storage solution provided by Metis as well, using IPFS. But we're not just the low code, no code. We aim to extend that functionality into the DAO atmosphere. In this case, we have a built-in DAO structure called a DAC, a Decentralized Autonomous Company. And I'll explain a bit more about the functionality present, but currently, and this will be released in the coming weeks, is that we will have the staking and mining for the DAOs. So users can join a DAC and they could produce that mining power for those Metis tokens. Now, there's much more functionality, and I'll explain that in a little bit, but as well as the funding. So one of the key aspects of creating a DAO, creating a DAC, is to bring your business onto the blockchain. But again, that's for the future slides. So use cases. Lots of use cases. So for our biggest use cases, DAOs. So with our infrastructure for creating those decentralized autonomous companies, but we're supporting any applications that are built. So any applications that are built on Ethereum layer 1 can utilize layer 2 Metis in order to build their application. So we're fully EVM compatible in those cases. So we support DeFi applications, any dApps, NFTs, launchpads, freelancing, and so on. So any applications that are built on Ethereum, we support. The core feature, scalability. So we are, as one of our products, we are a layer 2. We aim to reduce the heavy computation of layer 1. So any dApps can be ported onto Metis, and you can utilize the fast transaction speeds and the slow transaction costs. So what else do we have in that case? Well, we have architecture that allows us to have multiple chains, multiple virtual machines, and multiple sequencers. So we aim to spread the load that the network has that the network has. So we aim to have, so that it doesn't matter if there's 50 transactions or 500,000 or 5 million transactions. We aim to spread the load and reduce the possibility of those bottlenecks occurring. For security, as I mentioned before, you only need one honest node, one honest verifier in order to maintain the network security. So there's a very low cost. We're not susceptible to 51% attacks, even if you control 99% of the network. Even if you control, if you're an attacker, if you control 10,000 nodes and there's 10,001 node, all it takes is one node in order to secure the entire network. We are also secured by layer 1 Ethereum. So layer 1 Ethereum is core, and that's what gives us that ability. So we utilize the security and the decentralization of layer 1 Ethereum by extending the speed and the scalability. Finally, usability. Possibly one of our key features is that we're compatible with EVM. We have IPFS storage integration, so we're currently in the process of establishing and building it. So currently, having that IPFS storage allows for easier integrations. You don't need your own personalized storage solution. You can use ours built in. We also have Polis middleware. So Polis middleware, as I said, we have the smart contract templates, but also Polis will be used as just a general management of your smart contracts. So any smart contracts that you deploy, you can register them through Polis. And registering them through Polis, you're able to access more functionality, such as user authentication and transaction processing. So you're able to go into the application, register it, and then have your DApp interact with Polis in a way that users could come in, register, and easily use your application without having to install any extensions, any third-party wallets, and of that sort. So we aim to make it a holistic ecosystem. So comparing optimistic rollups. So currently there are two of the most prominent ones, Optimism and Arbitrum. So Metis is also an optimistic rollup. Again, one of our core products is the optimistic layer 2 rollup. And we do things differently from Optimism and Arbitrum. So currently, what we currently have is the multiple chain architecture. So we have multiple chains already present on the network. And I'll tell you a little bit more about why we need multiple chains, or why multiple chains is essential for the usability of Metis. One of the key aspects is that it enables decentralized autonomous companies. So the capabilities that a decentralized autonomous company may have is based also on that multiple chain architecture. And finally, the storage integration. So we aim to have storage integration integrated within Metis, within the layer 2 optimistic rollup. Now, going into DACs. So what exactly is a decentralized autonomous company? DAOs are currently very limited in their functionality. There's voting, there's governance, there's reputation power, and that's pretty much it. So currently you have governance tokens, and you're able to vote for applications using those governance tokens. You're able to vote for the future of specific decentralized applications. We see that as a big stepping stone. So this is a very good base, but we see it lacking in terms of functionality. We see that decentralized autonomous organizations can be much, much more. In this case, they can be decentralized autonomous companies. So we see not only voting, governance, reputation power, but we want to include and expand into organizational roles, payroll, financing, donations, administration, project management, and much, much more in terms of that. We want to make Web3 usable for businesses to come on board and utilize their services onto the blockchain. So in this case, we have roles, permissions, human resources, project management. So we aim to establish all of those tools in order to make businesses see that Web3 is where you do business, because it's way easier to process payments internationally using the blockchain. And so we see that as a core of the future as well. And one of the key aspects is also the communication point, is that currently DAOs, it's very difficult to get thousands and thousands of people to come on board and vote. You can provide incentives for voting, you can do all those things, but in the end, it's all about bringing hundreds of thousands of people together in order to make those decisions. And sometimes those decisions might not be fast enough, especially for a product that changes very often. So we aim to make communication a core part of managing a DAC as well. Now talking a little bit more about the hackathon. There are two tasks. So two tasks that are assigned. You can either build a new decentralized application. So you have a cool idea, you want to integrate that into your own, into Metis. Of course, we support that. If you want to integrate your existing DAC that's built on any EVM based, or I should actually say Solidity based smart contract, then we support that as well. If that you have your smart contracts written in a different language, it has to be written in Solidity currently. We are expanding the compiler for different languages, but currently it supports specific versions of Solidity. So in this case, we have DeFi. So there's different types of tracks. So there's DeFi, Web2, Web3, gaming, digital art, and United Nations tracks, to name a few. So in these cases, if you have ideas that you think have merit in terms of their application within the Web2 world, or you think you have ideas that expand the DeFi space, the DeFi ecosystem, NFT ecosystems, then we suggest that you come build on Metis and see how the difference is. Lastly, we have the United Nations track. And so there's 17 UN goals. And we want to maintain that aspect, that we want to support that growing ecosystem. We want to benefit the community as a whole And so we support projects that are doing so as well. So that's why we have a separate track just for these UN goals. And of course, $1 million in terms of the Metis prize pool. So this is in the cash prize as well as the builder mining rewards. And in this case, there is a $25,000 in Metis plus builder mining if you win first place in the track. And there's also $15,000 in Metis plus the builder mining. So there's definitely lots of room in terms of the tracks, in terms of the different applications. Now you can only register for one track, one project per track. You can't apply for all the tracks, so keep that in mind as well. And we have a ton of partners as well in terms of our hackathon partners and sponsors as well. And we have prizes that are coming from our partners directly. So these are posted on the website, and so you can have a look at them in terms of what exactly are the bounties and what exactly are the rewards and tasks that are present within them. So just the rules, just an overview on the rules. So it has to be one track. You have to build it on layer 2. We have to build it on our layer 2. You can select any prizes as well. But keep in mind, you can only select the ones that are relevant to your project. So of course, that's a given, but just have to mention that. In this case, you have to create a demo video. You have to have an MVP. The code has to be working, running directly on Metis layer 2. You cannot have an application that's running on Ethereum layer 1 because that's not the whole purpose. The whole purpose is that the application has to be running on Metis layer 2 in order to be eligible. And of course, we have judging criteria. So we want to make sure that all of this is outlined and fair so that you know what we want in terms of the projects. So we want to see that, does it have a real world use? Is it solving a problem, or is it just creating another problem for people to solve? Is there a solution? Does the solution work? Does the team have a bigger vision than just the MVP? Do they have that continuation? Is it good for society as well? So of course, there's those things, and each presentation, each MVP will be tailored to hopefully these criteria as well. So again, opening October 2nd, it's right now October 12th, hopefully, if I didn't mix up the dates. So now all the workshops that we'll have with Tuesdays at 4 p.m. UTC. Judging will begin on December 1st to the 15th, and we will release the announcements on December 18th of who won. So now we have, again, the hackathon, the Discord. If you're a developer, please, it's essential that you join the Discord. That's where you'll get all of the test tokens as well as the resources you need in order to start building, and we'll help you answer any questions that you might have or any errors during the deployment process. And of course, if you missed the previous live streams, but you still want to know which questions were asked and more in detail about the product, we have it at qaa.metis.io, and you can see all of the questions that were answered so far. And again, hackathon.metis.io to see all of the prizes and details within them. And make sure to check the site incrementally, as we'll post even more of these bounties and sponsorships and more opportunities for you and your project. All right, so this begins the question period. And oh,
and we also have a speaker that we need to let in.
Yes. I forgot. Hyungsuk is here. Let me just actually go back and So we have a speaker in the waiting room. I unfortunately missed it. It's on a different screen, but let me actually let him in, and I will admit. Right. Hey, Hyungsuk.
Hey.
Oh, so we are currently in the live stream right now, and I guess sorry to let you in very impromptu, and I guess I'll let you. The floor is yours, and I guess just as a brief introduction, this is Hyungsuk Kang. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it right. I apologize if I mispronounce it, but this is from Standard Protocol. So he'll be talking a little bit more about the project and all of the details about that. Do you need a screen share access?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Sure. All right.
And I would like to add, like, of course, thank you so much, Hyungsuk, coming in and speaking today. Hyungsuk is actually co-founder of the Standard Protocol, and he is going to be talking about new DEX decentralized exchange design and also the dividend pool. So it's very, very exciting topic for our crowd and the hackathon. So those of you who are developing decentralized exchanges on Metis Layer 2, please tune in, and Hyungsuk, it's yours now. Thank you.
Great. So thank you for introduction. So let me actually go through my background first. So I have been an Ethereum scholar. I've been starting to develop blockchain since like 2016, and became a scholar in Ethereum, and then started to work with the Polkadot projects. Built some wallets for Polkadot network, and then started to get a job in Terra, and eventually got a Tendermint fellowship. And I wanted to actually build a chain agnostic protocol across this multi-chain DeFi age. And this is how we found a Standard Protocol. So Standard Protocol is a multi-chain protocol suite of decentralized finance and proposes a digital finance standard across this multi-chain ecosystem. So far, we're making core technologies, swap vaults, swap for like fee sharing mechanisms such as dividend pool, and vault with the POS chain native stablecoins to improve capital efficiency in the collateralized rebasable stablecoin model. And we're building other synthetic futures and other digital asset standards to come into a multi-chain ecosystem. So the current technology that we have developed so far is called dividend pool. So if you see those Uniswaps and Sushi swaps works a lot.
I'm sorry, we don't see your screen. Are you sharing the screen?
I'm just kind of talking. I'll try to share the screen.
Okay, so if you're not sharing the screen, we find it. Just I was confused if you're sharing. So because we just seeing if something is working on our end or not. So let us know.
We're trying to prepare for some presentations, so I was too busy building. So yeah, but
okay,
I'm just gonna do some simple explanation. So there has been a lot of Uniswap and SushiSwap forks lately in multi-chain ecosystem. But what they don't tell to the people is that they actually take the exact amount of fee from the Uniswap. So if you see Uniswap contracts, there's like a min fee function where approximately 0.5% of your swap fees are actually taken from the team to withdraw those liquidity and then have it by their own. I mean, well, from the time when the Uniswap has appeared, it would actually make sense. But right now, the code is everywhere, and most of the projects are just thinking of forking it, and they're not even trying to give community back about those open source codes and then those shared profit, which was from the Uniswap. At least SushiSwap did try to compensate those 0.5 fee from forking the code by just airdropping sushi or something, but it hasn't they haven't come up with the sustainable mechanism that can reward community by just giving back what they have made from product. So we have come with the dividend pool where we share that 0.5 fee, 5% of the total trading fees from all pairs to the community with the dividend pool. So let me actually share my screen for that. Whoops, I think I'm gonna have to reconnect to Zoom for right now. Please excuse me.
Yep, of course.
In the meantime, we might answer some questions that we have. Yeah, let's do it.
Yes. There is a question saying that I can't create a Polis account. Why is that? Currently you should be able to type polis.metis.io and create an account. There might be, if you experience any errors, please message us in the Discord, and that will hopefully be resolved in terms of that. So if you still cannot create your account, if there says that an error has occurred, if you can post that into the Discord, that would be much appreciated, and we'll resolve that problem.
Yeah, we need an exact error that you're facing because we don't know what is exactly the problem. We can create a policy account, but like if you can, there's some other problem that normally we're just not aware of. And second question, is it okay if we give a POC of the
Sorry.
Okay, now we're back. Now that we have a share screen access, I'll try to share it on our recent working app right now. So yep. Here's our working DEX right now. We're now in a testnet phase and for a dividend pool. And once people try to swap in their fees, they can go to those dividend pool, such as if you look into this, we see those collected LPs that is printed from the 0.5% of the total swaps. Right now, we're kind of testing between the pair between wrapped ETH and DAI, and we can expect to have those claim those dividends from account. So let's just say we have a saved account from here. Just a moment. Well, so there's a bonded standard. You can bond your standard here. Let's just see if we can swap it. Just a moment. I'm sorry, but this was just for presentation purposes, so I haven't prepared for the standard anyways. But if you look at the dividend, you can bond your standard and then claim your dividend of getting those LP tokens for a fee share so that you can get those fees from the 0.5% of your the pool. And those pools are the pools that you can get from the leader is determined by the governance, such as you can get it from the snapshot, and you can vote for the proposals and then get it back. And you can choose the pairs to claim your dividend, and that's how our DEX works. So in our hackathon, we're trying to bring those, we're trying to integrate some external programs to come up with some a revolving mechanism, such as like a alarm for claiming those dividends, or some treasury community fund to think about those investing those dividends to other ecosystem projects revolving around standard protocol, such things like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Excellent. Now, I guess just a brief question. you have a bounty posted. Is that correct, or is there a I guess any additional information where people can come in and get more information about standard protocol and the
Oh, sure. You can go to our official link tree, or you can check out Twitter at Standard DeFi. For the apps that is working currently on the testnet phase, you can go to apps.standard.tech, and then you can test out Dividend by just swapping those wrapped ETH with other standard tokens.
Excellent. All right. Well, I thank you, Hyungsuk, and that was very, I guess, the ability to swap and have that decentralized exchange functionality, I think, is very, very useful, especially the dividends. I guess I guess we'll continue in terms of answering any questions, and I guess if anyone has any questions for Hyungsuk, please in the chat. Hopefully Norbert will be able to provide us with additional questions here. So another question. So is it okay if we give a proof of concept of the core functionalities, but claim ambitious plans in the hackathon? It'll take longer than 20 days to make it all work. Yes, so of course. So the whole idea of a hackathon is that you provide that minimal viable product. So anything that has a vision, has a mission to it, anything that has that initial idea and that ability to say, well, here's what we have currently, and we'll extend it in the future, and we'll provide this functionality that will give these users easier, better, cheaper, faster access to these resources. So essentially, that's the idea behind it. So yes, of course, submit any ideas, any projects, but again, they have to have that base in Metis, so they have to be built on Metis layer 2, and they have to have at least that minimal viable product. So it has to be built. It cannot be just a presentation about an idea. All right. Guess so. There might be a delay in the questions. In that case, we can just cut it in terms of that early. But there might be, I guess, maybe someone's posting in the YouTube. But make sure to post all your questions in Telegram, and I guess in that case, yeah, we'll I guess call it a good finalization in terms of this successful Q&A. In the future, we'll talk about a little bit more about the releases of the public testnet, as well as the functionality of the DAC, and so we'll go a little bit more into detail regarding that. If you have any questions, please post them in the Telegram, and I would like to thank Hyungsuk for joining us today and telling us a little bit more about standard protocol. And I guess I would like to wish everyone a great rest of the day, night, or morning, wherever that you're located. All right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And yeah, I expect to launch this platform in Metis so that people can have a fair benefit from the protocol's like min fee function that has been uncovered by the team, which is from Uniswap. And then yeah, we aim to provide multi-chain liquidity from those bridge connections. We're trying to bring any swap team to Metis so that Metis can not only be like a layer two, but could be like a tap into a multi-chain ecosystem. And yeah, to have a personal comment on the hackathon projects, I think I'll be welcoming to see a claim alarm. So we have this claim function to claim those dividends, but however, it has to be 30 days to claim it because of the security reasons where people can infinitely claim the dividends in the pool. So, but in the meantime, people can be hard to track those alarm that they can claim again, and then they might miss the chance. So I think it would be great if someone could come up with some idea to get those alarms to claim those dividends. I think that would be really great for us. And yeah, we're willing to give our word as well. So
Excellent. Yeah, yeah. And again, if you have any additional ideas and you want to, I guess, just benefit the ecosystem, I think that a claim alarm, um, there's definitely potential in that. Yeah. So I guess just to cut it off short before I start rambling about life and everything. Thank you all for attending this AMA session and the hackathon workshop as well. And have a great rest of the day.